Mm-hmm. Good morning, everybody. So good to have everybody here this morning. A delightful day. We might have worn everybody out yesterday. We had a big fundraiser event, a number of people here. So glad that you are here with us today and just enjoying the beauty of this day, the sun that is shining. We call this the month of May because it may be sunny and warm, and it may be raining, and it may be whatever, so you're ready for whatever. See, right. What we know is we will have a wonderful day today. We don't have to wonder about that. It's going to start with some wonderful music. So let's start with Narayan Janet's music.
This goes out to our cool friends, which is everybody in the room, but especially these folks over here. Did you do a kiss? Honey, are you going to do a kiss for the...
No, but I'm going to say, I'm just going to introduce the song, what we're going to sing together. Spirit and nature dancing together. It's inner meets outer. It's being guided by, you'll get it. So take it in. Let's sing this together. It's here somewhere. Spirit and nature.
Spirit and nature dancing together. 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 Spirit and nature dancing together.
Same thing, one more time.
Spirit and nature dancing together. 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 Savor a moment of oneness 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 together.
Again, savor, savor, savor.
Savor a moment of oneness together. Savor the 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 moment of oneness together. Spirit and nature dancing 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 together.
One more time, spirit and nature.
Spirit and nature dancing together. 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 Together. Nice job.
How fun. Thank you so much. So I just want to, yesterday we had a beautiful event here. Those of you who are here, those of you who might be online because you're sitting on your couch instead of coming here today because you were tired from yesterday from the volunteer. But I just want to acknowledge everybody who was here, to volunteering, being a part of it, and just want to give you a little song today in gratitude.
Yes, this one.
I just want to thank you for all you bring to me. I just want to thank you. Your love has set me free. Thank you, thank you. I would say your love has set us free. I just see this as a path of liberation that we're on. And I would invite you. I mean, it was a wonderful day yesterday. I think we raised community vibrations up yesterday. And I think my question now is, where do we go from here? That we can take this. When I first came here, I wanted to get more attention to the center. Well, we've got the attention. People are knowing the work we're doing, and how do we want to further that? What do we want to do with this love that we have held in consciousness here? So I'm going to be out in the courtyard today, out on the benches out there, and I would love to hear ideas. The theme today is sips and dips. So let's savor the sips we had from yesterday, but let's talk about where we're going to take it from here, what your ideas are. Let's brainstorm. Let's move forward with this. So I really appreciate it. So let's just gather out there after the service. I'll be sitting on the bench. We can get some chairs around and just chat about things, what's on your heart today. So I'd really appreciate it. I thought yesterday with the 3 honorees we had yesterday, that was just wonderful to have Hope Lugo and Carol Poole and Dr. Marty Shoulders, that were all honored with their Compassion to Heart Awards. It was a beautiful honoring of them, and people were, it was amazing. Napa seems like it's a diverse community in some ways, but it seems like everybody's just 1 or 2 degrees of separation from each other. And I think Harris is one person that's in the middle of everything. So, that Jeannie too. So it was just fun to celebrate them. And what we know about this center is we continue to, the funds that were raised yesterday, the efforts we do both of heart and of financial giving support the vision and mission. So I want to reiterate that this morning, to say that together. So if we look up on the screen, we say together, we are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. I just love the last part of that mission, to see God, to see people's magnificence, to see the divine truth they are. Even when it seems hidden from us or hidden from themselves, we just know the truth of each person and each faith. So I appreciate you affirming that today, and it's something I affirm on a daily basis. I hope you join me in doing that. So we do want to also, this is May, and it's a month to honor the heritage of Asian Americans and Pacific Islander Americans. And I think it's an interesting history we have here in Napa. So much to be grateful for, particularly the Chinese people that were here in the 1800s, late 1800s, probably mid 1800s and into the early 1900s. Doing so much of the labor here in the vineyards, laundries of different kinds, quicksilver mines, hop farms. Did you know we had hop farms that made beer instead of wine? Leather tanneries. And they also, if you've been to any of the caves, the older caves and wineries here, you'll notice the chisel marks. And those are hand chiseled by the Chinese people that were here. There are 2 really great books out right now. One we've talked about before is the one on the right, The Hidden History of Napa Valley by Alexander Brown. And the one chapter is devoted to the Chinese that were immigrants that were here in Napa and up in Calistoga. And they were on the banks of the Chinese, of the Napa River there, up to 5,000 people at one time. Chinese immigrants here. And the new book by John McCormick is called Chinese in Napa Valley, the forgotten community that built wine country. That's just out in this year, 23. So that's another one. He's speaking in different places. You might look him up. I heard him speak over at the Presbyterian Church, the Covenant Presbyterian Church. Really enjoyed his talk. So a good book to pick up and good for us. I think there is some, what Alex Brown says, hidden history is right, because it was suppressed for a while, or we didn't want to talk about it because we weren't really acknowledging the value they had in helping us, and they were not treated with kindness despite their contributions. There was an anti-Chinese movement in the early 1900s that forced them out pretty much of being here. And we go through cycles of this country finding scapegoats for our economic situation or whatever crime situation. We tend to blame a group of people because we don't want to take responsibility for ourselves. And there's even in recent years a anti-Chinese sentiment because they are somehow wrongly accused of being responsible for the pandemic. I mean, especially Chinese Americans, they weren't even anywhere near China. So but somehow that's been a problem here. And a lot of Chinese Americans and all Asian Americans, Japanese Americans are a little scared at times of being violence as well as verbally abused. So we want to support, we want to keep ourselves educated, support, advocate in every way we can for all people. But this being made to think about Asian Americans in particular. There's some pictures from the Chinese immigrants that lived along the Napa River. They were hard workers, they were families, and I think we're missing something not to have more Chinese, not to have continued that culture that they provided here in Napa, that they would have been a rich diversity that we would have enjoyed here. So we continue to support and encourage diversity in this community in every way we can. Also, next Sunday is Mother's Day. Always a great day to be here to celebrate mothers and acknowledge them, grandmothers, and all those who have been in a role as a mother, perhaps an aunt or a friend who stepped in important times to help raise children. But it's also a time to celebrate all women in all ways because the divine feminine, women continue to be such an inspiration spiritually. They tend to be the people that are more receptive to spirit and gain that wisdom quicker. And so we appreciate that. It seems like most of the women I know not only have to manage their own lives, but manage a few other lives. And as well as be empowered and compassionate person. So we acknowledge that. So next week we'll be celebrating women with a small gift as well as honoring you in the service. So, and we please know that we are here for you in all ways, that after the service we'll have practitioners available for prayer. And we have prayer requests available you can fill out in the lobby or online. It's our great privilege and honor to be able to pray for you during the week. So please give us the opportunity to know that which is on your heart and that we can know the truth is being revealed to you as you. So grateful that way. So now we just open up our service, the sacred part of our service, with more music.
Where's my stage tech? I'm in a dress. I can't do it.
I guess that's me. I guess that's me. I sleep on the job here.
I love this song. child of love, a child of love. I am a child of love, created from the wealth of the universe, born into love. I'm a child of love. I am a child of love, created from the wealth of the universe.
Let us set down that from which we came and from where we are going, and just be here in the present, knowing in this moment there is only one eternal force, one mind that moves through all creation as powerful, loving, joyous energy. It is the wind that whistles through the trees. It is the stream that caresses rocks as it flows. It is all that our senses can fathom, and so much more. This morning, this force, this energy expresses as our music and our two beautiful musicians. It expresses as Reverend Jay and the message he shares. It expresses as each of you here today. Let us rest in the next moment or two and just acknowledge this miracle. We bless this day and we let it be. So, welcome. Feels kind of cozy in here, Reverend Jay. I'm not sure what it is. It's good energy this morning. Anyway, this past week, something was going on and I couldn't put my finger on it. Social media was flying. There were emails. It wasn't like New Year's Eve, but it was celebratory. It was close to New Year's Eve. What I found out this past Thursday was a huge international celebration. It was May the 4th. And coming from that, may the 4th be with you. It was Star Wars Day all over the world. Everyone was acknowledging Star Wars. And Star Wars, who in here has not seen a Star Wars film? Has not, never. No one. Okay. Star Wars is about the Force. And here's how one of the Jedi Knights defined it. The Force is everything. It is the current between you and me and everything in between. It is the energy that makes life flow. And the one thing I am always certain of is that the force is with me. It was also believed that nothing was impossible to the force. And would you even think that George Lucas had read any of Ernest Holmes at all? And George Lucas says, I put the force into the movie in order to try to awaken a certain kind of spirituality, especially in young people. And he goes on to say, more a belief in God rather than a belief in any particular religious system. But Star Wars is a movie wherein any faith group can find a resemblance to their beliefs, and they try to. Besides Christian elements, people looking at Luke as a savior and so forth, there's a strong resemblance in the movie to Buddhism, to Taoism, religions of the East. There are many people who list themselves as Jedi. There is a Temple of the Jedi Order. It's a true church based in Texas, and they have quite a following. Another basic theme of this series is about choosing the light within us as opposed to the darkness. It's about holding all things in balance. It's about being in harmony with nature and all the other beings around us, even bugs, Lucas says. It's about a profound recognition of what they call the divine mystery, something greater than ourselves. And Yoda says, the force is my ally, and what a powerful ally it is. Lucas also says that one of the main themes is that we must realize that we all must live together and for the greater good of all, and that everything in our galaxy is part of the greater whole. So, whether you think the Force is truly a religion or just going to the movies is your religious experience, Star Wars is the highest grossing film franchise. I want to leave you, I'm getting a signal. I want to leave you, with your permission, Reverend Jay, a really bad joke. all of the characters, Han Solo, Princess Leia, R2-D2, they were all gathered together to help Luke Skywalker celebrate his birthday. Now, I don't know when that was, may have been May the 4th. They were all gathered, lots of gifts on the table, great food. They're having a really good time, and Yoda walks over to Luke and he says, I know what you're going to get for your birthday. Skywalker looks at him and says, how do you know that? And Yoda says, I felt your presence. So anyway, may the Force be with you.
Here's another one of our I Just Want to Thank You songs. I think we have 4. We need another one. We'll have an EP. I just want to thank you for what you bring to me. Yeah. I just want to thank you. Your love has set me free. Every day I get a feeling in my heart. It feels real, feels real. And my friends say the same thing too. Listen, 'cause we want to thank you. Just want to thank you for what you bring to me. just wanna thank you. Your love has set me free. Every day, my gratitude expands. I'm feeling big instead of small. The whole universe is inside my heart. Listen, 'cause I just wanna thank you for what you bring to me. I just wanna thank you. Your love has set me free. Every day I open up my arms. When I hold myself, I'm holding you. The earth is a hallelujah to me. Oh, listen, 'cause I wanna thank you. I just wanna thank you for what you bring to me. I just wanna thank you. Your love has set me free. I just wanna thank you for what you bring to me. I just wanna thank you. Yeah. Your love has set me free. Thank you, thank you, thank I just wanna thank you, every one of you, every one of you. Thank you. Just wanna thank you. I just wanna thank you, sweet God. Yeah, I just wanna thank you. Oh, thank you. Just wanna
I just love that song, and that's why I requested it in announcements. And I do want to just thank all of you once again. It's interesting, that song, it's meant to be sung to spirit, is to thank you for all that you do for me and to set us free. But I think as a community, we are doing the work that is setting us free, and we are still seeking. Last month's theme was about awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and I still see that as our work to do, awakening all hearts to spiritual magnificence. And I just so appreciate that we are part of that as a community. So today is the start of our new theme this month, which is May the Force Be With You. Thank you, Peggy, for introducing that topic. And one bad joke deserves another one, I think. So there was a man who had an obsession with Princess Leia, sort of a celebrity obsession, and he was stalking her. And so Yoda went to this man to work with him so he would forget, so he would not be obsessed. So he did a Jedi mind trick on him, and he forgot all about Leia. And he told Princess Leia about this, and she goes, "Well, how do you know he was Swiss, and how do you know he forgot about me?" And Yoda said, "Well, that was easy. When I would finish the Jedi mind trick, I asked him who Princess Leia was, and he said, Yoda Leia who? Yoda Leia who?" That's why you knew he was Swiss, right? Yoda lady who? See, get it? Bad, right? One, you started this. It's your fault. So this is the month of May, and that's why this theme about about this theme that may the force be with you. And really what we're talking about is beyond the movie, but it's made the divine force be with you. But I think a lot of people, I know myself, was deeply affected, inspired by this movie. I was, I think, 19 when it came out. And I had just started on a spiritual path. I had read Ram Dass's book, Be Here Now, that I thought was so cool. I still think it's a cool book, but then it was like, whoa. And the idea of allowing that there was a divine force beyond me, beyond my awareness, but could be in my awareness. I could invite that awareness and it could guide me and it could come through me. And the contrast between what I was doing mostly then, which was forcing things, forcing life, trying to make it a certain way when it wasn't that way, I'd be upset and disappointed and angry, instead of allowing that divine force to come through me in that way. And so in this month, the idea of may the force be with us, or may the divine force be with us. And also this month we are, this week in particular, we are, the topic that's within this monthly topic is savoring the sips and dips in our life. And I like this topic too, because yesterday those who were here were able to savor the sips. And yet we also know that we all have moments in our lives that are dips, that are disappointing, that are painful, that are confusing, particularly around a great loss we might have, and the joys we have, the way that we regained our energy, re-energized ourselves, got ourselves up and out into the world, changed or was changing or had changed. And it was difficult for us to find that new source of motivation, that new source of aliveness and vitality that we were used to doing. The old ways don't work anymore, or they weren't working right now at least. So this idea of taking moments, even when things may or may not change, and just savor them, just to be present in the moment with what is. There's a story in the Buddhist tradition of teachings that there was a man who was on a cliff. He was chased off this cliff by a tiger, and he grabbed, just as he was falling, he grabbed a root. So he's holding on to this root while a tiger was above him, and below him was a fatal fall. So the Buddhist would say that the past was above him with the tiger, and the future would be his fears of falling. And hanging on to the root, he saw a red, bright, ripe strawberry. He picked the strawberry and ate it. And being the Buddhist, wanting to leave us in the question, that's the end of the story. You know, first time I heard that, go, and what next? That's it. So for us, we have to realize that that is the Buddhist teaching, to enjoy, to savor that moment. There was a research study done they contrasted people who were willing to savor the moment, to take a moment, maybe in nature or in conversations, or just a moment of silence and appreciating and gratitude, that they were intentionally doing that in their lives, versus people who didn't have that same intention. They were just the blind, so to speak, part of the study. And after a longitudinal study over time, they found that the people who were savoring the moment had a sense of well-being. They felt happier. They had joy. And so even though in their lives things might not have changed, and for me, I know times in my life when I was lower energy, or disappointed, or a great loss in my life, when my joy was not there, my happiness was not there, finding my energy it was hard to do. I remember one time in particular when I was my oldest son, who's now like 40, 42, about to be 43, but when he was 4 years old, I separated from my then wife, his mom, and I was in a really kind of depressive time, disappointed in how that relationship was going. And yet I spent time just really with my son and the joys of a 4-year-old, and the things we did together was just wonderful. It did not change that predicament for many months. That did not shift, and we ended up getting back together and had 29 years of marriage before we divorced. So we had many more good times. But that moment didn't change. It doesn't change anything. Or maybe it slowly did. Maybe the joy I had in that I felt in moments, maybe it slowly opened me up, because I can say our problems were um, as much, maybe more me than her at that time. So I begin to shift things, and that joy, I think, really does make a difference. So savoring in a moment means generating or prolonging or intensifying positive emotions. When you have a positive event, or just sitting in the silence and allowing that to happen. Nature is one of the best places for that to happen. I'm a fan of the Golden State Warriors. Last night was not a glorious day for the Warriors. That's okay. Steph Curry is my favorite player. And something happened during the series with the Kings that was remarkable. So we know last night, I mean, everything doesn't go Steph Curry's way. But he had this moment in a recent game with the Kings when he had missed several free throws, which he's got the best percentage of free throws in all of the NBA. You see, so this is him. And he was at the free throw line in his usual style with his mouth guard hanging out, and just starts smiling. Everybody else is real serious. Everybody's serious. The whole place is serious because I want to make sure he makes his free throw. And he just starts smiling. And he's just so happy. He celebrates making one free throw. Now, later, people ask him about it because it was so odd. And he said, you know what? When I smile, I'm in the moment. And that's all I think about is what I'm doing. I'm not thinking about the past free throws I missed or about the game that we're losing or anything else. I just enjoy the moment. Now, I am one who I don't, most of these athletes are under 30 and they're, I don't consider them necessarily wise sages all the time. So I'm not a person who puts more emphasis on there because they're professional athletes. But this was a point of wisdom. And I know Steph Curry has gone through spiritual education. I don't know to what level, but I know many of particularly NBA players have Buddhist and spiritual education of different kinds, teachers. And so this was just, I thought, to me, that was inspirational, just to smile and feel that joy. And sometimes it's not faking it to say as if, but we know that studies have been done. If you smile, you enjoy what you're doing more. So sometimes we say, change your thinking, change your life. But sometimes if you change your life, you change your thinking. Just to smile a little bit and be present and enjoy the moments that we have. I just returned from a retreat last weekend, and it was so great that Dr. Viljoen could be here with you. I heard he gave a great talk, and it was an enjoyable time here. So thank you for being a part of enjoying him and enjoying his presence. But I was at a retreat with ministerial students as part of I'm a dean of a regional ministerial school, and there were all 7 regions that were all there. So we had 62 ministerial students, including Georgia. And it was so precious to see these students who are just so open and so willing to let Spirit come through them. I want to let you know, if you didn't hear it from Dr. Edward last week, I want to tell you now, Centers for Spiritual Living is in great shape. We have the next generation of spiritual leaders, and they are amazing people. They came into ministry school already conscious beings, and they've only added to that while being students. So it was really nice. Now, I myself was one of the lead facilitators, so I was busy pretty much preparing for different sessions, talking to people, and just conversations. But it also was at this beautiful camp with these giant cedar trees, and I was just enjoying the moments as well. I had been there 15 years ago, and Michelle was with me. She was the one of the registrars, goes with us to kind of do the logistics. And we also celebrated something there because 15 years ago, this particular camp that's up in Northwest Oregon, west of Portland, we had been there both as teen advisors, she from Reno and me from Denver from Mile High. And we knew of each other, but we never had a conversation really. And we were just having a casual conversation one day. And come to find out, we were both divorced. It changed the conversation. So we were celebrating meeting and having that kind of first date in a way, or first connecting point. And so it's fun to go back there and 15 years later and see the camp and where it's at now. And actually, Centers for Spiritual Living just purchased the camp in 2023. So I feel like we're almost a denomination now. We own a camp. I said that to somebody, they go, no, we're not a denomination. Don't say that. People resist that idea, but I think we're a denomination. So, but it was really fun to be there and be with everybody there. I'm so inspired by the passion of our ministerial students. And the name of the camp is Camp Cedar Ridge. So it's, like I said, about an hour west of Portland. So in this theme that we have, may the divine force be with us. Another important thing for me about this theme is about allowing. That's one of the most important words in spirituality I have. I mentioned that it's about not forcing things. When I was growing up, my father would have me, he'd always wanted to teach me things. And I did that with my kids too. So I guess that's what you do as a parent. But he wanted to teach me how to work on a car, basic stuff in a car. And he called himself a shade tree mechanic. He didn't know everything, but he knew a few things and taught me what he knew. And then we would change the oil together and different things like that. And when I was a kid, but as I got stronger, he would always say, now don't force that, that bolt or whatever I was undoing or tightening up. Because he said, just persuade it, he would say. And sure enough, as I became stronger, I didn't know my own strength, and I broke a bolt off on the oil pan, and that was a big problem. And he was like, you could tell he was a little irritated, but he was okay with that. And, just continuing to be patient. I remember with my own boys, things that we did together, you'd have to be patient, but the whole idea was to bond and teach them about life and being active. And my sons have continued that with their families as well. And this is also an important part of the Star Wars movie, is about the whole idea of a spiritual teacher, somebody to guide you. So Luke, in what was the only Star Wars movie what I saw, but later became Episode 4 when the whole sequels were out. But Luke heard there was somebody called Obi-Wan Kenobi that he actually seeks out and finds him, and finds that he's related to him and that he's a spiritual teacher. So he wants to learn from him. And so they begin this relationship. But then Obi-Wan dies tragically, but continues to be his guide as a embodied ancestor and guiding him. And I thought that was so cool in the movie. And one way that Obi-Wan Kenobi guided him was to tell him to go to this planet to go study with Yoda, who was skeptical of Luke in all ways because Luke was impatient, rushed, and anxious. And I think we all are when we're younger. So Yoda continued to be this person who guided him, and through inner and outer work. and continue to be present with him. And to me, that's so much like spirit that is present with us, that we can be impatient and a little irritated at things, irritated at life, sometimes even angry at life. And spirit is just there to guide us with compassion. I love what Howard Thurman says in his quote. There it is. In the stillness of the quiet, if we listen, we can hear the whisper of the heart giving strength to weakness, courage to fear, and hope to despair. I determined to live the outer life in the inner sanctuary. This whole thing that is over and over. And Luke did not become a Jedi master overnight. He came in and out of this teaching with Yoda and applied that which he learned. And he was successful in what he did, but he knew he was a work in progress, and he continued to evolve, continued to go back to the inner sanctuary, as Howard Thurman would call it, that we live our life from that. The other thing I love about this theme this month is the word may is also part of the loving kindness blessing from the Buddhist about may I, for ourselves, we may say, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be filled with loving kindness. But it's also, we can say it for another person, particularly someone we're challenged with, because we can't say, oh, I know they're going to get better, or I know they're, this or that. But we can say, may you be well, may you be healthy, may you be filled with love. Because we're not forcing on anybody anything, but we're just giving them a blessing of recognition that may you be well, may you be healthy, may you be filled with loving kindness. And that way we're blessing them right where they are. And in this way that we pray, we also know that we can trust the divine force, that we can be aware and give in. There's a large difference between giving up and surrendering. Giving up, we've given up our energy, we've given up trying. But surrendering is allowing spirit to come through us. It's allowing a greater sense when we don't know the way. We don't have to know the way, but we know that spirit will continue to guide us. And one of the pivotal moment, everybody might have a favorite moment in Star Wars film, but my favorite part of the Star Wars film was this part. I do have sound on this. Is the sound up on the television? Yes, it is. Okay. Now? I don't hear anything. But I'll walk you through it. So basically, he's in his spaceship. He's trying to destroy the Death Star. And the Obi-Wan Kenobi voice goes through him and says, trust the Force. And he moves away his computer and decides to do it on his own, not do it on his own, but allow spirit to come through him. And all his crew that's back in headquarters is about to be blown up by the Death Star. They're worried, like, what are you doing? You can't, is there something wrong? And he says, no, I'm fine. And he shoots, and they're about to shoot their missile, but the Death Star explodes. I know our technology, our graphics have improved since then, but the whole idea is that we trust spirit in this way, that we let the force come through us in this unknowing that we have, that we can just open up to life and open up to the light that is our guide, including our ancestors, including spirit, angels, whatever you want to call them, but they're there for us. And finally, my third is we want to be one with the divine force. Know that we are not separate from anything. We may think of God as out there. We may be saying, thank you for all that you do for me. But in truth, we are thanking the universe for being present with us, and gratitude that all comes forth. That is the beauty and life that we have. The character Obi-Wan Kenobi, You can just mute that now. That I've always seen him as a spiritual figure. And if you look at his name, I've never heard anybody, I kind of heard it one way one time. And I heard it as Obi, one as one, and Kenobi as Kenomi. So Obi-Wan, and you can know me. So we be one and we can know spirit in all ways. Jesus said that if you know me, you know God. And he didn't mean me as Jesus is the only way, but if you know, if you can experience the divine in someone else, you know the divine in you as well. So sometimes we talk about judgments we have of other people, and we say, well, a judgment you have of someone is true about you too. But you can also know that about the positive. If you see the God in someone, the compassion in someone, the love and the joy, and you just go, wow, I wish I was that too. Guess what? You are that. You already are. That divine. Be one and you can know spirit. You can know God. And I know this opens us up in so many ways. It just allows us to not be separate from anybody or anything, because God is all there is. Ernest Holmes says that God is an infinite presence, an indwelling reality. The whisperings of this inner presence come to each of us as a divine revelation, an inner communion of the individual spirit of the oversoul. The oversoul is another word that Emerson used for spirit, for the overall universe. So that which is the whisperings of this inner presence that we may not, there are times we don't hear that inner whispering, but we can just be with it and find those simple joys. Finding the strawberry, like this is a beautiful strawberry, and just enjoy that moment of eating the strawberry, even though it may not solve everything in your life. Just to be present with that. And to go back to the quote that Peggy read, that Yoda said, "The Force is my ally, and what a powerful ally it is." Let's bring that in as we go into prayer. The divine force that is around us is all there is. And all there is this divine force. We know it is our ally. It is for good in our life. And we know this spirit is moving in and through us for good. And it is this good we can tap into and spread this good and this love. And I know spirit is this truth that is through us as we spread this love out into the world. As we allow the simple joys that is God itself in the strawberry. We know that we are overfilled with all that we seek. That we are encouraged and supported and loved right where we are. I know this blessing to be right here and right now. I know those of you who hold prayer requests in your mind, whether it's for yourself or someone else. We know that prayer request is heard and it's acted upon by the universe right here and right now. Because we know our prayers never return in void, that there is an action, the divine force acting on it right now. And we know this to be the truth as we release this word into the law, knowing it is so. And so it is.
You do it every week. Just this cool thing. Okay. Okay. Actually, this song follows up perfectly, like it does a lot when we do stuff together. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
If you want to sing along, the lyrics are "Say yes." They're getting shorter and shorter the older we get. You know, that'd be yes. So it's here. Here's what it is. You can help us. Say yes. Hang on. Here we go. Say yes. That's perfect. We got haircuts.
Wow.
So we're gonna go. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes to the birds up high in the daylight.
Say yes.
To the owls in the night in the moonlight. Say yes. Down low, up high. Say yes. Feels good. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes when you're asked to go on an odyssey. Say yes to the challenges deep in my heart. Say yes. Gonna learn, gonna grow, gonna feel it when I say yes. Yeah.
Say yes. Say yes. Say yes to the healing of our food chain. Say yes to the brand new flying car. Say yes to a spirit of cooperation. Say yes, we're all shining stars. Say yes. Say yes to the impulse of inspired action. Say yes to the voice inside your heart. Say yes to the unfailing law of attraction. Say yes, every moment is a fresh start. So say yes.
Say yes. Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes. Say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes. Say yes, say yes, say yes. Come on, come on, come on. Say yes, say yes. Say yes.
I say yes. So good. This is a time in our service when we invite you to be part of the law of circulation here. Definitely during the event yesterday, we were circulating. Yes, it was a fundraiser, but we also raised community. And I just love that part of circulation too, that we are giving and receiving and loving others. So thank you for being a part of that yesterday and today. We know that the different ways that are available financially to give to us. There are online donations, texting, or making checks out to us. We appreciate all of those ways. If you can just take to your heart with your hand that which you've given us to in service or financially, and just hold it in your heart and repeat the affirmation with me. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
I just wanna thank you for all you bring to me. I just wanna thank you. Your love has set me free. I just wanna thank you for all you bring to me. I just wanna thank you. Your love has set me free. I just want to thank you. Your love has set me free.
I just bless all that you have given in service and in financial donations. We appreciate your support and know that it's blessed by Spirit and that it comes back to you tenfold in many and so many ways. And so it is. A couple of reminders today in the courtyard. One is I will be out there and forming a circle just to talk about not only savoring our sips, but what kind of sips we may do in the future, sips and dips perhaps. And there's also out at the back of the courtyard, the big white board we have that has set up magnetic poetry that you can combine different words that describe a beloved community to you. So you can pull them, people are pulling them out, synchronistically with Spirit, or you can devise what you want to do either way, but you can think what other people have written and kind of create your own poetry, or kind of create a poetry wall there. So that's available to you. And we have rocks among us. So stones that Marv is willing to paint for you, custom paint for you, and a few smaller ones to give away today for donations if you want that. So see Marv about, he's the stoned man. I mean the stone man. That's right. So, so yes. And the donations go towards our center. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And also this is a first Sunday of the month, which is fun because in part of our welcome of new people, we also welcome May birthdays and anniversaries. So first of all, if this is your first time with us, are you willing to raise your hand and so we can acknowledge you in some way? Anybody their first time today? Okay, well, let's move on to May birthdays. Anybody have a May birthday? Raise your hand. Got a May birthday? Anybody else? Only one May birthday and all this crowd. That's hard to believe. Okay, one May birthday. What about anniversaries? Anybody have a May anniversary? May anniversary here? How many years? How many? 38. All right. Wonderful. Great celebration. We also, although it's anonymous, we celebrate people's sobriety anniversaries and know that this is a spiritual path and we honor that spiritual path, whether it's anniversary this month or another month, we honor your path. So let's, we have a greeting for those people whose birthday, anniversary, and, oh, I was already there. So we raise our hand and say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. So we are inviting you for prayer today. If practitioners could come up to the front, please. You can stay in the sanctuary for prayers after the service. Please know this creates a sacred time. So we ask that you take your conversation out into the courtyard. And by the way, we have leftover snacks from yesterday. Lots of food out there. So I hope you're hungry. So come join us for good conversation, good food, and some great coffee. And we'll join you out there. And I think I was going to say, I think that's it, and stay for prayer so we can have that prayer here, sacred time in here. And now for our closing song. Let's all stand. I forgot the affirmation. Once you hold it. I just realized I forgot something. I was ready to get out in that courtyard. The community affirmation. So let me do that first, and then we'll do the closing song. So repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by Spirit. I'm guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I'm here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is. Now.
Let this be my joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. As peace on earth begins with
May you be filled with peace. May you be filled with love. Blessings.
Come share this earth with me. Come share this earth with me. Come share this earth with me. living in a world where love is free. Free to let my heart be at ease. Easy to give love so tenderly, knowing that